Okay, this is the 0640 turn, quite a bit going on. Here's the overview from long range. Let's zoom in. 428 and 2GD taking up positions here. The 428 just took the hilltop here, and we'll start looking around to get an idea. First GD with a lot of support is moving to stone, but that lone French spotter over there has brought in a nice battalion fire and is causing some casualties in the first GD, including STG-3 was knocked out. French won't have all that much artillery left, though, so they'll have to slow down eventually. Over here, the Sturmpionier are in a firefight with the 4BC and 12205. They're trying to break through over to this point here. A little confusion among the leaders, but the troops are still fighting it out. And over there was quite a firefight. The Sturmpionier are holding pretty tough, but some of the tanks broke through and ran into elements of the 3GD. And one of the stacks was knocked back with a save yourself retreat. There they are back there. So quite a fight going on here. The one problem for the Sturmpionier is that they don't have any defense orders, and if they don't implement their hasty defense soon, they're going to have to pull back. But of course, the French don't know that. Over here, there was a firefight between a platoon of the 3GD, called in some really nasty mortar fire against the 3205, but the 3205 fired back. The Germans rolled a 66 for morale and had to retreat out of that position. The 6GRDI is holding, trying to figure out what's going on. They're in perfect counterattack position, but don't know it. So they're just hanging tight. And the French are trying to, the 3205 is trying to sort out what's going on. And then the rest of the 3GD up there moving up cautiously and holding this line. So it really is quite a firefight going on. And one observation is with the hidden movement, the French have been able to engage the Germans kind of equally as opposed to getting rolled over as is in the usual case in this game in the beginning. Because all these Germans over here are unopposed but don't know what's going on, so they can't get in the fight. So it really has turned out to be a different game so far than might be the case without the hidden movement. This is a quick look at 0700. Really not much new. Here's the 6GRD hanging out. 3205 tried to attack, and that was kind of stopped by the 3rd Battalion of the Großdeutschland. And the Pioniers are still engaged with 1 and 205 and some tanks, but it looks like the French might be able to break out. It's pretty much kind of in doubt right now. Hard to say what's going to happen. Okay, this is after the 0800 turn. So we see down here a large French force has come on about an hour ahead of schedule. We'll see what the Germans think of that and how they react to that. First GD still in stone. There's the second GD and the 428. And here's the rest of the situation. 3 GDs getting kind of beat up and might be pulling back soon. And there's the Sturmpionier who had to withdraw with a failed op sheet and have pulled back to here and are regrouping. Okay, this is the long-awaited 1020 turn. I just sort of moved in. The place is a mess, but I got this thing set up. I'll do a long pan. You can see some things are going on. If we get close in here, we see the French have some reinforcements. If I remember correctly, that's the 267, which has come in real early. Luck of the roll. Just kind of set up there for now. They don't have any orders to move forward for another 4 game hours. There's the 2 GD basically holding the same position. 1 GD where it was before. The 428 still back here. And over here we see the results of the main French thrust, which has been going on for probably about 20 to 40 game minutes. Against one company of the 3 GD. Back up a little bit, get some focus. We see that this is the 6GRDI along with the, was it 345, I think, butted up against some AT guns and had a real rough go. We'll see how they've only been attacking for a turn. Here we can see a pretty good breakthrough by the rest. 3205, well, the whole 205's over here, plus a good battalion of French tanks. And then this 167's also involved. And they pretty much broke through. The company that was there got overrun, and the German 3 GD headquarters was overrun, which is going to lead to some command problems. Here's the Sturmpioniere, which are hanging back and have orders, I think, to move and hit them in the flank, and we'll see how that turns out. It's become quite an interesting situation. We'll see how it goes from here. Okay, here's the situation about 11:40. As we can see, 3GD has vanished. Succumbed to the assault. There were absolutely no survivors of that encounter. There's the 6GRDI and the 349, I think it is. I forget. There's only 4 tanks left in that, 4 of the big ones. They're heading up, and they're going to be heading over this way. To meet them will be the 4th Company of 2nd 8th, who've gotten into a hasty defense over here. In the center area, we see that Raffin, or however you say his name, Raffin, and Geskier, and I think it's Monet, have broken through here and pretty much cleared the woods. That's the remnants of the 205th with all sorts of elements of the 45th. Moving up to the woods here. In the town is a company of 1st GD and remnants of the Sturmpioniere, who were pretty much wiped out, about 2/3 of losses to this onslaught. They lost the initiative in the last turn and weren't able to pull out in time. If they had won the initiative, they might have made it. So we'll see what's going to happen here, but it doesn't look too good for the Germans at that point. Over here, the 1GD has been moving around, changing its location some. They've moved some of the troops out of the open plains. Ran into a 1 hex away from a artillery spotter the French had infiltrated up to there, and that's caused the Germans quite a bit of damage and aggravation. 2GD hanging out in reserve, doing absolutely nothing. And that's how it looks. Down here at the bottom is some French infantry that's moved on, but has not yet begun its operations, which is planning for about 1 o'clock, if I remember, 1 or 2 o'clock. So far the Germans have lost almost 2 entire battalions to some French losses, but nothing on that scale. So looks like the French certainly have the upper hand here, and if the Germans don't unify their command, look how spread out they are like this. It's basically these German units have been sitting here the entire game. Which, if people have read my article, would realize that I don't approve of that, but hey, I'm not running the show. This is a situation at 12:20. So, nothing changed over there too much. Germans falling back along here after getting kicked out in a hoot. And over there we got a group of the 6GRD and the 4 tanks left of the 349th. That might be tangling with the 428 here, defending over there. That's the 3205 and associated tanks, and the 167 still backed up here, but they pretty much, the Germans withdrew, so they'll be moving through the next turn. The Sturmpioniere have 1 guy left down here, and just a couple heading up there. It looks like they'll be trying to regroup here. And here's a new group of the 6th, let's back up a little bit, sorry, that arrived there. Just came in turn. So the Germans are getting some reinforcements, trying to fall back here and defend. Okay, here's the situation at about 13:40. If we look over here, we see that some French tanks have entered. Also, that's the 1 and 249 have come on. And there's some more French infantry that's been on for a while, looking to attack north pretty soon. German 1st and 2nd GD. There's a little bit of the 2nd right there, and as we see, it's opposed by kind of a large force of French. In this area, new German reinforcements, the Panzerlehr, AT guns, and also the 6.28s is up there, kind of trying to figure out what to do. Over here are remnants of a company of 1GD and the Sturmpioniere. And some more French troops advancing. Out in this area there was a tank battle, about 6 tanks on each side destroyed. And the German 428 withdrew. And the French are kind of paused there trying to figure out what to do. So things have kind of solidified into a couple lines, it looks like. Still, I'd say there's a